Every year in December I release my top 20 roller coasters. And here we are, 2021 is nearly over. This year I got the chance to ride the 2 new generation Vekoma coasters in Germany, Hals über Kopf and Fly. As well to visit Tripdrill and HANSA-PARK again, so my opinions have changed a lot, especially on one coaster. But since I've only ridden coasters in Germany, there are some family coasters on here, and this list is of course only my opinion. And I promise guys, next year I'm finally going to ride awesome coasters outside of Germany. 2022 is gonna be wild. But now, here are my top 20 roller coasters I've personally ridden, 2021 edition. Number 20. Colorado Adventure at Phantasialand. This is considered by many to be the best mine train coaster on earth, and rightly so. The layout consists of many decently strong helixes and many drops, where you get, if you sit in the back, mild floater airtime. The ride is also very smooth, in the middle there's a long tunnel, and it's a very long coaster, featuring 3 lift hills. The only downside, the ride isn't very well themed, especially in the first half, but if you sit in the back, you're in for a real treat. Number 19. Winjas Fear and Force at Phantasialand. This duo of Maurer spinning coasters is great. They are my 2 favorite family coasters I've ridden. If you have the chance, definitely choose Winjas Fear, because the Fear side is longer, steeper, and features in my opinion the better elements. But Force is also fantastic. Both sides feature different surprises, but I won't spoil anything here. The last tip, rope drop Fly or them, because they have not the best capacity and you don't wanna wait for them 1.5 hours like we did one time. That was stupid. Number 18. Nessie at HANSA-PARK. This Schwarzkopf looping coaster opened back in 1980, but it's nowadays still glossy smooth. Nessie's first drop features in the back decent floater airtime, and the drop after the mid-course brake run features ejector airtime. And you only have a small lap bar, and at HANSA-PARK the ride ops don't really staple you. On top of all, the loop is quite forceful, and after the re-theme in 2019, Nessie features a beautiful station and an awesome e-Moscow soundtrack. The only cons are the extremely loud indoor brakes and this hill right here, which literally gives no airtime. But it's overall a good coaster. Number 17. Krake at Heide Park. On last year's list, this coaster was way higher, just because of that awesome drop. And even though the drop is awesome and one of my favorite elements on any coaster, the rest of the layout only consists out of a floater airtime hill and a Immelmann. But the drop makes up for the short layout. And try to ride Krake in one of the XL seats in the back and try to get as much room as possible. You will go flying. Number 16. Blue Fire Mega Coaster at Europa-Park. The problem with the Europa-Park coasters on this list is that I've ridden them in freaking 2017, so I can't remember those rides very well. Blue Fire starts with a great dark ride part and then with a surprisingly strong mug launch. It's actually a decent launch. But then you enter this weird curve right here, which is just forceless. The best element by far is the hardline roll, featuring hangtime and laterals. The rest of the ride is fine, but the coaster is very smooth and the trains are awesome. Number 15. Black Mamba at Phantasialand. This Beyond M inverted coaster is very unique. The ride is only 85 foot high, but features 4 snappy inversions and forceful helixes at the end. And the theming is out of this world. You constantly navigate through a whole African jungle, which costs as much as the coaster itself. But even though the front features the best view, I prefer the ride in the very last row because of the whip you get in every element. The 0G roll is not that good, like on a few other roller coasters, but it's overall a very fun coaster. Number 14. Skyscream at Holiday Park. This premier ride, Skyrocket 2, gets often overlooked because it's a clone, but it's a damn intense clone. The bottom of the non-inverting loop features very strong positive g-forces, and the top of the vertical spike and the drop down both feature strong ejector airtime. And the hardline roll is also great. The 3 cons of the ride are the train and the restraints, which are very tight, the launches, which are not very forceful, and that stupid non-inverting loop, which features nearly no force at all. But Skyscream is perfectly smooth, and the theming and the queue line are very well done. Number 13. Wodan at Europa-Park. Same problem as with Blue Fire. I can't really remember Wodan, but from what I've heard, the ride is smooth and loaded with floater airtime. And you get this out of control feeling. On top of all, the ride features super comfortable trains with lap bars, pretty theming, and the queue line is, from what I remember, very epic. So, little short but very good coaster. Number 12. Flug der Dämonen at Heide Park. The best element of this coaster is by far that wing over drop in the 2 back right seats. You get flipped and pulled down at the same time straight into an airtime hill. Then the rest of the coaster consists of floaty inversions, You're not super free because of the restraints, but it's still a smooth, very enjoyable, surprisingly great themed, and very intense roller coaster. Number 11. Star Trek Operation Enterprise at Movie Park Germany. This is my most ridden roller coaster and a great ride. You need to sit in the very last row though, that's by far the best row on this coaster. The launches are, as you would expect for a MAC coaster, awful, but the layout features a few great elements, such like the twisted vertical rollback featuring weightlessness for 4 seconds, the top hat featuring in the back great airtime, and the 0G roll at the end featuring awesome weightlessness. Then you also have a fun hardline roll, decent flow jack the airtime hills, a fantastic soundtrack, and the ride looks beautiful. Yes, Star Trek is not perfectly smooth, but I don't mind the vibration that much. Number 10. Hals über Kopf at Erlebnispark Tripdrill. This new generation Vekoma suspended thrill coaster is a very fun ride. The ride is very smooth with only a tiny vibration in the back and very re-rideable. The ride experience consists of 2 0G rolls and a corkscrew featuring great weightlessness, many airtime hills featuring sustained floater airtime, and an overbank curve, a Junior Immelmann and a helix all feature decent positive Gs in the back. The helix also in the rest of the train. Also, the restraints are very comfortable and the area around Hals über Kopf looks very pretty. The ride itself is not super intense, so even younger ones can ride it, but it's still a forceful thrill coaster. And last tip, since Hals über Kopf and Volldampf are located fairly near to the entrance, definitely ride them later in the day. Trust me, it's so much more crowded in the morning. Number 9. Desert Race at Heide Park. Desert Race is in my opinion Germany's most underrated roller coaster. The ride features Germany's best launch, and then the rest of the layout consists out of 3 twisted ejector airtime hills featuring decent laterals and great airtime, and intense turns between the airtime hills featuring strong positive G-forces. One of my friends even had a grey out on one of those turns. Yes, the ride is pretty shaky, unthemed, short, and the restraints are not the best, but I can look over the shakiness, the trains and the non-existing theming for a great intense ride. But Desert Race is over way too quick. Number 8. Flucht von Novgorod at HANSA-PARK. This Gerstlauer Eurofighter is a very special ride. The ride not only features the second best launch in Germany in the dark, but also a vertical lift hill and a beyond vertical drop also in the dark. The outer part between the launch and the lift hill is, with the exception of that awesome ejector airtime hill and the fun hardline roll, not that special, but still okay, and the ride also features a great mini drop right before the launch and 2 epic pre-shows while you're on the ride. You need to ride this coaster in the late afternoon though, because in the morning the pacing is terrible. But it's also a very smooth coaster if you keep your head forward, and der Schwur des Kernern is definitely rougher. Number 7. Silver Star at Europa-Park. This is a very polarizing coaster. Some people love it, some hate it, and even though I despise Silver Star very often for having no airtime, Silver Star is in the coaster enthusiast community so overrated that the ride is actually underrated. Silver Star is a good coaster. It may not be one of the absolute best roller coasters in Germany, but it's a fun and fast roller coaster. Silver Star's first drop features in the back great floater airtime, so do the 3 first hills and the last one over the road, but they are a little bit stronger in the front. And then Silver Star also features 2 ejector airtime moments, being the drop after the mid-curve brake run and the drop after the helix. Of course both ones in the back. And those airtime moments, especially that one after the mid-curve brake run, are awesome. Number 6. Karacho at Erlebnispark Tripdrill. This is just an overall great roller coaster. Karacho is very smooth, especially for a Gerstlauer, and the trains look very cool and feature only lap bars. The layout consists out of a forceful launch, a big corkscrew featuring great weightlessness, a fun dive loop with great laterals, a fun second corkscrew, and spoiler, please skip 10 seconds ahead, the best element of the ride, a hardlane roll in complete darkness. This roll features great hang time, especially if you have much room, and it's also the point where your on-ride photo gets taken. The one downside of Karacho are the filler elements, such like this curve right here, the floater airtime hill, and the helix, but as I just said, Karacho also features great elements and a fantastic soundtrack by Imascore. Number 5. Colossus Kampf der Giganten at Heide Park. Colossus was the first Intermin prefabricated wooden roller coaster, opening in 2001, and after a whole retracking which took 3 years, since 2019 the ride runs again under the name Colossus Kampf der Giganten. The bad thing after the retracking are the trim brakes they installed on the first drop, so all the hills feature less strong airtime, but they still feature in the front all sustained flow ejector airtime, and the good thing after retracking is the big monster you dive in during the last airtime hill. Also, Colossus is very smooth and features a great soundtrack by Imascore. Number 4. Fly at Phantasialand. This coaster is very polarizing. Some love it, some think it's okay. But I personally love Fly. Fly is very smooth and features many near misses thanks to Rookburg, the new themed area where Fly is located in. Fly's layout consists out of 2 with weightlessness filled inversions which are very fun in the flying position, 2 overbanks featuring decent positive Gs in the back, a intense helix, 6 floater airtime hills which feel as you would fly, and the highlight of the ride, the ejector airtime hill after the second launch. Also, the trains are very comfortable, Fly is decently long, the queue line takes you through the whole area, the ride features a cool dark ride part, and Fly's soundtrack is fantastic. Number 3. Taron, also at Phantasialand. Well. Taron. I was very long in the Fly team, but now after I got night rides on both Taron and Fly, I like Taron better. Yes, it's still dead spot the ride, but in the evening Taron's pacing is incredible, and the 2 good direction changes and the airtime hills, except for the last one, all deliver. Even a few slower curves feature in the evening mild laterals, and the best thing about the night rides is that there are many different colored lights, and the whole trench of the second launch is filled with artificial fog. Also, Taron is not super intense, but it's just a fun, smooth, re-rideable roller coaster with an awesome soundtrack. Number 2. Expedition GeForce at Holiday Park. This Intermin Mega Coaster is an ejector airtime monster. The first drop is in the back one of the best in the world and the best I've experienced. You get very strong ejector airtime combined with strong laterals, and the first 2 camelbacks both feature strong ejector airtime, on the first one for a little bit longer, on the second one a little bit stronger. And Expedition GeForce features one of the best finales on any roller coaster in the world, period. 4 strong ejector airtime hills, and every hill delivers. Combining that with the wide open trains, the incredible smoothness, and the underrated soundtrack no one talks about, and you have a real winner on your hands. Other than the first drop, every other airtime moment is stronger in the front, which is why it's my favorite place to sit on the ride, but the back is also amazing. And now, my favorite roller coaster I've ridden. This was a very close decision with Expedition GeForce, but I decided to put Der Schwureskernen at HANSA-Park on the number 1 spot. On last year's list, this coaster was at number 4, mostly because of the roughness and because I just found the ride to be very overrated. But now, after 18 instead of 4 rides, I'm a huge fan of Kernan, and funny thing, I don't even mind the 2 first rough valleys anymore. My favorite thing about the whole coaster is actually the lift hill, because it's a vertical lift and the atmosphere in the tower is unbelievable. There are no words to describe how epic this tower is. The most epic part of the soundtrack starts playing and the lift hill is 239 foot tall. Then Kernan features my second favorite first drop ever. The hard element afterwards features in the evening strong ejector airtime and you can see the ocean and the whole park. Then Kernan also features a stangle dive featuring very strong laterals, a intense curve leading into a sharp ejector airtime hill, a second airtime hill right before the brakes. You can get insane night rides on Kernan where you can see the whole park glowing from the hard element, and Kernan has a fantastic soundtrack and a legendary story. Thanks for watching. What is your favorite roller coaster you've ridden? And do you like Kernan or Expedition GeForce more? Comment below. Really hope you enjoyed the video and see you hopefully in another one of my videos. Bye guys.